The supposed Call of Duty killer XDefiant is officially shutting down. What's up guys, Jab here back with a brand new video, and unfortunately XDefiant is shutting down. This game had so much hype around it. It was one of the more anticipated upcoming first-person shooters that we've seen in the last few years. That wasn't something, with Call of Duty or Battlefield in its name. And unfortunately, the game just didn't really find the success that I think everyone was hoping that it would find. And today, they basically announced that the game will be shutting down because of the lack of success and because of the lack of new growth with players and things like that. At one point in this game, like when they announced it, when they were doing like tests and stuff, people were literally saying that this was going to be the first-person shooter that would finally kill Call of Duty. People have been saying that, Call of Duty killers were finally going to be coming out for years and years and years now. Every time there's like a new hyped up shooter, people say it's going to be the one to kill Call of Duty. And this one, I feel like, was really up there. Like people were really attaching it to that Call of Duty killer sort of name. And unfortunately, it just didn't really do that well against Call of Duty. Didn't even really do that well as its own standalone game. Now, I actually really enjoyed this game. I played it a little bit, especially on like handheld PCs, things like the Steam Deck, things like the ROG Ally. I really liked it. It ran really well, didn't take up that much storage. It was a fun game to actually go ahead and play. But unfortunately, it seems like not everyone thought that. It seems like they had a real problem with retaining players and also attracting new players away from popular FPS franchises like Call of Duty itself. The game definitely felt very familiar if you've ever played like any modern first-person shooter, but it also felt very different because of the fact that you had unique operators with their own abilities, ultimates, and things like that. It sort of felt something like, Call of Duty mixed with like Overwatch or something, which are two of my favorite first-person shooters. So I really like those games, and I like this game because it was a mixture of those two. But unfortunately, the formula, the whole thing that makes it unique, it just seems like it wasn't unique enough, or just not good enough, I should say, to really make people want to play this game over the competition. Especially in the last few months, it's been really tough with them trying to retain players and stuff. A lot has been riding on like the season 3, season 4 sort of updates and stuff for this game, and it just looks like it wasn't enough because unfortunately the game will be shutting down. I believe they're announced the shutdown today, and I think according to what I saw, it seems like you're not going to even be able to play the game going forward if you don't already have it downloaded. I could be wrong on that, but the game should be shutting down entirely basically by, I think it's June or July of next year. So here we have an article from Polygon.com talking about the whole shutdown, and it says Ubisoft is shutting down XDefiant in 2025, laying off half of its team. 2 studios will close as well. That is kind of crazy. And it says Ubisoft will be shutting down its free-to-play shooter XDefiant. Announced Tuesday, servers are going to remain on until June 3rd, 2025, but the game will no longer be offered for download and player registration will be closed. So yeah, I was right. Basically, if you didn't have it downloaded already, you're not going to be able to go ahead and download it, which does kind of suck. I imagine that most people probably don't have it downloaded right now. So even if you wanted to get some games in before the shutdown, it seems like that's probably not going to be possible. It goes on to say that despite the sunsetting, XDefiant players will get access to its 3rd season content sometime in the near future. Nearly 300 people, 143 in the San Francisco office and 134 across Ubisoft's Osaka and Sydney locations, will be laid off. So literally hundreds of people are losing their jobs, unfortunately, because of this shutdown. Now, despite this being, of course, pretty sad news, they did offer refunds, which I thought was really cool. It basically said that anyone who purchased the $70 Ultimate Founders Pack is going to be getting a full automatic refund, just, automatically. They don't have to do anything. That's really cool for people who did actually go ahead and support their game and stuff. It also mentions that all purchases made within the last 30 days will also be refunded too. So basically, no one is going to be losing their money unless you spent it, somewhere in between the last like year or whatever that this game has been out. Now, they kind of go into like why this could potentially have happened here in this little paragraph. Basically says that it was released on May 21 of this year following an announcement of the project in 2021. At launch, the game was seemingly a success. It reportedly reached 1 million players within hours of its official launch. No official player or revenue numbers have been released though. Ubisoft CEO said during an investor call in September that the game did not meet expectations. So basically from the time frame of May to September, they were already saying that the game was like a flop. Essentially, it did not meet what they expected of it. And it says in October, Ruben posted on X that numbers were down due to very little marketing, a strategy designed to get the game in a better place before ramping up marketing to attract new and lapsed players. He wrote that he was crystal clear in that there were no plans to close XDefiant after its 4th season, following an Insider Gamer report. That's something that I wanted to go ahead and point out too. Basically, it's not letting me open the actual link for whatever reason, but basically this guy, Mark Rubin, I think literally just last month was saying what this thing says here. He was in a conference call essentially, and that they were like, no, there was no plans at all to close XDefiant after its 4th season. Now they're closing the game with that season 3 update. So you know, it's unfortunate that this ended up happening, but yeah, honestly, the whole very little marketing thing, I 100% agree. I was hearing about this game back when it first launched, like so much. I was seeing people post about it on TikTok. I was seeing ads about it and stuff. And then it kind of just disappeared from my, you know, everything in regards to social media. Like it just disappeared entirely. I never heard about the game again. If it wasn't for me actually looking for, like I mentioned, FPS games that didn't take up too much memory so I could install it in like my handheld PCs. If it wasn't for me actually looking for it, I would have forgotten that XDefiant was even a thing. I mean, I guess they did have a reason, like they wanted to go ahead and start the marketing after they got the game in a better place. But if, you know, the game was already considered to have like not met expectations and stuff, you would think that, you know, you probably shouldn't wait too much longer to start marketing your game. Otherwise, it's just going to keep getting worse and worse. But unfortunately, that's what they did. And now the game will be shutting down. And it just sucks because we're not even going to be able to play it. Like if you're watching this video right now and you're like, oh, well, I never even played it, let me try it out or something. Or if you played it, you know, back then, and then now you're like, well, I want to go ahead and try it out again. We can't even do that because now the download's not even going to be offered on the Ubisoft Connect app anymore, which kind of sucks. Honestly, there's a lot of things that probably went wrong with XDefiant. I feel like every game that gets labeled a Call of Duty killer inevitably ends up doing really badly. Like it's just every game that gets that label, it feels like they never really, you know, get to that level that people think they're going to get to. And then things like this happen, unfortunately. Meanwhile, Call of Duty still alive and well, still breaking record numbers. You know, Black Ops 6 was like one of the most purchased games on Steam this last like October when it released and stuff. Warzone still super popular, and another Call of Duty killer is unfortunately disappearing very, very soon. Really sucks to see. I really did like this game as like a casual, you know, player and stuff. And it would have been nice to be able to just go ahead and play this game every other month or whatever. But unfortunately, that's not going to be possible for us anymore. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about XDefiant shutting down. With all that being said, though, guys, thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.
Subscribe, motherfucker.